Hey everybody, Chorus.sh Samuels here, and today I'm going to take you through a new tool called Chorus.sh. And I'm not just going to take you through it, but I'm also going to relate it to conscious stack design, or like what I like to call it, C-stack. And how this relates is I'll put a link to another video explaining what conscious stack design is, 5-stack theory, etc. But essentially, the theory around this is that human beings can only manage a certain number of tools cognitively, and they can only manage a certain number of stacks as a result. And when we're talking about stacks in the context of workplace tools or technologies, it's the amount of those tools or technologies within the overall stack. So as an example, say my goal is to build with AI. When it comes to building with AI, I have already created a stack of tools that I'm managing cognitively in my brain. And that current stack for me is, it includes these tools: ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, V0, Bolt, Lovable, Vercel, Netlify, Stripe, Polar. Okay? And so this is my overall stack for building with AI, but there are substacks, okay, within that. And based on 5-stack theory that you see up here, when it comes to these goals, we can only manage 5 stacks at a time, okay? This is the optimal. And there's actually some science behind this. And I've used 5 because it also relates well to our hands, right? We have 5 fingers. And with each of the 5 fingers, you will have your substacks. And then for each of those substacks, we have a maximum of 3 tools, okay? And these correlate to the segments of the finger as well, right? So this is a good visual cue for yourself whenever you're taking action on something. If you step back and look at the goal, your hand can tell you how many tools and things you can manage at any one given time optimally, okay? And so the idea is that you get conscious first of the stacks that are currently running when you're pursuing a goal, okay? And again, this is all to do with tool design and technology, because the belief and understanding, and actually this is something I've experienced, is that essentially our tools are mirrors of what's going on inside of us, okay? And so you can actually reveal a lot about the problems that are existing both within you and within the environment around you, you know, whether that's professionally or personally, simply by looking at your tools and your tech stacks, okay? And so we've got 3 here, right? I've mapped it out, and what you're seeing in the blue is essentially my preferred AI stack across the substacks. So when it comes to ideation, I prefer ChatGPT. Behaviorally, I notice that I use it more. For AI editors, I find myself using V0 a lot more, although this is changing with the introduction of Chef. Then for AI deployment, Vercel, and AI payments, Stripe. Okay, so that's why there is a blue sort of grouping here, just to show, right? Next up, we've got this evaluating grouping over here. And this is essentially the new tools that are trying to enter my cognitive space, okay? And Chorus is the tool that we are evaluating now. And so as a result, we then have a new analysis layer, okay? And let me put that here, and why don't we just use green? So this is also being evaluated, okay? And Chorus, I'm evaluating as a potential tool to not only replace one of these tools, but to replace all 3. Okay? And why is that? The reason for this is that Chorus is essentially a tool that brings all your LLMs together under one roof. Okay? So here is what Chorus looks like on the inside. And so the magic behind Chorus is that it's got a very familiar interface that you may already be used to with ChatGPT, Claude, etc. Right? It's a chat interface. But if I put in a new prompt, say, what is the definition of an AI stack, and hit enter, it is giving me answers across multiple LLMs. Now, this is actually brilliant because the issue that we had here, right, with stacks, especially now as the AI space is growing, a lot of us are developing, researching, exploring all these tools, right? and we might not have settled on one. But using a tool like Chorus, you don't necessarily have to settle on one. You can use their interface and then just get your results all under one roof. Okay. And the benefit of this is that you can compare models and their answers, right? To see which one you prefer better. Okay. And so in Chorus, you'll see this, right? And you can choose which one you like the most. Now, say for example, I like Gemini Flash because it's shorter and more succinct. I can then do branch chat, and you'll notice that over here, we now have two chats, okay? And down below here, it says AI Stack's magic context applied. I'm gonna show you what that is. What Chorus has done is that it's summarized the chat, right? After I branch into a new chat, it went and said, hey, looks like you left that chat. Let me just summarize it for you automatically. And it did that here. And within a project, what Chorus is doing is that it's summarizing everything to keep context between all the chats as you keep going. So this is essentially additional context memory that is becoming more and more of a thing in the AI space right now, because people are realizing, hey, to get better results, we need more context, right? Both about you and also your search preferences, right? Your prompt preferences. Okay, so now we are in a new branch. And you can see here in chat, it has kept this, and we're going to reply. What is the most popular AI stack among developers at Fortune, let's say Fortune 100 companies? Okay. Now Chorus, you'll see here, all the models are selected. If I only want one, then I can deselect and only use that. Under API keys in Chorus, this is actually where you can put in your own keys. Otherwise, if you want to just use Chorus's models, you just upgrade and you pay one price and you get all of their models. The benefit of bringing your own keys is that you can retain more of your own data via your keys, okay? And they also have an option for you to be able to use LM Studio, which is a tool that you can use to download LLM models straight to your laptop and access AI locally, right? Without actually any of it going to the cloud. So that's also a really cool and neat benefit of using something like Chorus. Okay, so I want to put that in. And since I liked Gemini, right, let's just stick with Gemini. And I'm going to do that. Now, if I wanted to keep all the models, of course, I can select them here. But maybe I just want to get things done faster. Okay. So there you go. Now you can see the substacks for an AI stack are automatically included here, right? And this is part of conscious stack design, or C-stack, that I'm outlining here, right? This is the system that I use with members, customers, clients to help map out stacks, evaluate them, optimize, clean, and then maintain. And on the maintenance part, actually have a proprietary tool that we are currently building that allows you to do all this more consciously, all right? And if you're interested in that, just comment below the video. Now, so what we've got here is for an AI stack, these are the substacks, all right? And these are the ones that are most common for Fortune 100 companies. So what that might look like, right? If we were to replicate this, let's just call this AI stack for enterprise devs, right? We look at here, we've got cloud provider, we've got ML frameworks, we've got data management. So these are all the substacks. And then we got ML ops tools. Okay, and then we'd essentially do the same thing, right? List out all the tools, map them against this diagram, and then have a look, see, right, at what we're doing. Now, I've spoken about stack design, conscious stack design, 5-stack theory, but we also have 5-3-1 rule, right, which is to do with the hands, right? So you got 5 substacks, 3 tools per substack, and then 1 preferred tool that you settle on and start to master, right? And Chorus is essentially a way of us optimizing all of this, right? So 5 by 3 gives us 15 tools, right? And so then if I ungroup, let's ungroup this. Okay. What we're going to see. Okay, so now we're going to have, let's see if I can break this apart again. Ungroup. Perfect. So we've got these three tools. And what Chorus actually does, because of the nature of its tool, is that it brings these tools out of my cognitive space and it actually places it right here. Okay? And so then the evaluating tools, this shifts out, right? The red is my, all right, so the red is my space. Now we've gone from 3 tools down to 1. And that is essentially what Chorus allows us to do. And so if you're somebody who's testing a lot of tools all the time, Chorus might be your best new friend because you can test new models without changing to a new interface. Because right now the problem, depending on how you see it, is that there's a separate interface for each of these LLMs, but really you just want to test out the models themselves inside a unified interface and have it not feel like it's an extra load cognitively. Okay, so back to Chorus, and essentially this is an overview of Chorus. And I think what is really amazing is that you can add an MCP server. If you're not familiar with MCPs, these are model context protocols, and allows you to do things that move beyond just sort of an API integration. You notice that there's web integration, you can run terminals, generate images, and even connect in with GitHub. So I highly recommend you check it out. It's a tool that not a lot of people are aware of yet or even know about, but if you are somebody who likes to test out new models constantly, and you can bring your own keys, you can save quite a bit of money and also cognitive space by using this. I think this is going to be my new best friend. What I really like about it is the sort of magic aspect here for preserving memory and context across different conversations. And I think my favorite feature is the branching, because I actually tweeted about this a while back and asked why is there not a branching feature for chats? Because when you are essentially going through a brain dump of sorts, you may want to branch off on different thought lines or thought chains, but then come back to a previous thought, right? And essentially this branching feature allows you to do that. So if you have any questions on Chorus, ask away. If you have any questions around conscious stack design or stack design, 5-stack theory, or the 5-3-1 rule, also feel free to ask away. With that, I hope you got some use from this, and we'll speak soon.